Back to the Bastards YouTube channel. As always, click like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to have 500 downloads by opening day. We're about 90 under that, so we're getting closer to that benchmark. We're also broadcasting live on Twitter right now, so if you haven't made it over to YouTube, please do that. Joining me tonight is Nick. We are going to be going through all of his division winners, his wild card choices, Cy Youngs, and then in the very end, his World Series matchup. We're going to whip right through it. My picks will be given Sunday night on the Apple Podcast and Spotify platforms. That's where all our extended content is with the regular crew. So find us over there as well. How you doing, Nick?
I'm excited to maybe surprise some people, get some people talking about some of these choices here. Maybe I can predict the future.
It's one of my favorite times of the year is when we go through all these picks and see how they all play out. So hopefully you don't have Reese Hoskins as your NL MVP. He blew his ACL out
No,
today.
I do not have him there. So
Sucks to be
on
them.
my ballot looks good. I know
Cancels
that
out
can
the
be.
Trey Turner deal, sort of.
Yep.
But all right, so let's hit the ground running. American League East. Who is winning the division?
Oh, definitely the Red Sox. Wrong. We're going to go north of the border here, folks. I'm going Toronto Blue Jays. If you listened to our last show, I think you kind of heard my whole gist with, I can't root for the Yankees. Can't do that. No way. I hope something happens to the Yankees and they have a horrible season. But what I do like here is what is assembled for the Blue Jays at this current moment. They scared me the past two seasons every time kind of the Red Sox faced off against them. I think that this might also be the year that there might be an MVP surprise on their roster, which we'll talk about shortly. So I'm going Blue Jays.
Hard to disagree with that. They're pretty stout on paper.
Wore their colors tonight too, just so you see. Hardcore Blue Jay fan over here.
Yeah, it's sad that it has to come to that. But
It is.
AL Central, that's probably a two-horse race.
Yeah.
Twins have some upset potential, but who do you like in that one?
Yeah, I kept going back and forth on the Twins and the Guardians with this one. I pulled ahead and I said the Guardians. I'm a big Tito Francona guy. I've always been a fan of his ever since he was a Red Sox manager. They got Jose Ramirez over there for third base. They got a guy, Shane Bieber, who might surprise some people in their rotation this upcoming season. I like what I see right now from the Guardians.
I think they are the defending champs. Let's go over to the American League West. Any big surprises here?
I don't like the Astros. I never have. I never will. So I can't root for the Astros for this. So I'm going with a little bit of a sleeper pick here. I'm going with the Mariners. I want to see the Mariners because I want to see a little bit of difference. I want to see a little change here. I think there's good potential with Julio Rodriguez they got out there. I think he could have some eye-opening moments this season and could surprise some people as well. Could get in the realm of MVP consideration. But I feel like the Mariners are always they talk the talk, but they can't walk the walk, if you know what I mean. I want them to kind of get to that point where they can be a contender and be successful in the AL West here. So that's my choice on that one. And notice that I did not choose the Angels, where you just saw Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout kind of face off with Japan and USA right there. That team is never going to win, in my opinion, with those two. Kind of sad. You got two of the best players in baseball, probably 1-2, but that pitching staff, the rest of the roster assembled as a joke.
The biggest blow to their winter, perhaps, the Angels, was when Artie Moreno decided not to sell the team.
Couldn't agree more. Feel bad for those Angel fans out there.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So, who are your three wild card picks on the American League side?
Yeah, this pains me to say one of them. The New York Yankees are one of my wild card picks. You gotta go with them.
Gotta keep.
Unfortunately, it's one of those things where I think they're no matter what's going to happen, they're going to sneak in. I also have the Astros, a part of the wild card choice there, and the Twins, especially with the re-sign of Carlos Correa right there. I think those three are pretty good selections right there for wild card picks.
So you don't like the White Sox at all?
I do not. I do not. I think that's too premature so far right now with them. I think they're going to be coming off that big loss of Jose Abreu, who was a clubhouse leader and a part of that team for a long time. I think they have some young talent that's there. I just don't know if they're ready to shine yet. I think they might be 1 or 2 years away from true contention.
Yeah, Lucas Giolito hasn't looked good for a while, and the White Sox outfield has not been healthy, namely Eloy Jimenez and Luis Robert. So don't really blame you on that one. Let's get into your MVP and Cy Young picks for the American League.
So I'm going back to the Toronto Blue Jays. I am going with Vlad Guerrero Jr. as my MVP for the AL this season. I think he is right at that cusp of being that superstar player. I think that guy's just a pillar of that team. He scares the life out of me when he's up to the plate, especially if the Red Sox are facing them. That guy can tattoo the baseball. And it also does help him that his father is Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I mean, Vladimir Guerrero Sr., excuse me, runs in the family. So I think it's going to be his season. I do.
He's going to win one eventually, so may as well be 2023.
Yep.
Your Cy Young pick on the American League side.
Yeah, this one was one that took a little bit of back and forth. There's no way Garrett Cole gets my selection on this. Some people say it's going to be a decent season for him. I'm going with the Guardians. I'm going with Shane Bieber. I think this guy is going to be a surpriser. I think he's going to help the Guardians get that NL Central. And I think he's going to be opening up again, like I said, with a couple other players, some eyes. I think that this is going to be, he's going to have an all-star season. I think that this guy is going to be a stud and should be in that Cy Young winner, if not Cy Young contender for this 2023 season.
One of the more fun divisions, now switching over to the National League side, the NL East. There's a few different ways you can go here. Who do you like?
Especially with I have the Mets, but I want to let you know that I kept going back between the Mets or the Braves. Number one, wouldn't that be the talk of baseball if the Mets absolutely crumbled after all those contracts signed this offseason with Verlander? Then you still have Scherzer and the whole sad story about Edwin Diaz from the World Baseball Classic and everything. But with all that money they spent, with all that talent they have together, I'm a big fan of Pete Alonso, too. I know he strikes out quite a bit, but still, I think he's got quite a bit of talent there. I think the Mets are going to get the NL East right there, but the Braves are going to be knocking right on that door pretty loudly. I'll tell you that.
Alonso, I think, drove in the most runs last year in the National League. So,
Yep.
National League Central, who's winning that one?
Ever since I was in Little League, I was a St. Louis Cardinal. I have to stay with my St. Louis Cardinals right there, except when they face off against the Red Sox in the World Series. Let's just make sure we make that crystal clear. Paul Goldschmidt, I mean, he just had his MVP season last year. I'm a big Nolan Arenado guy. I like him. Great person over at the hot corner. I think that this team has what it takes to get that NL Central. So Cardinals are my selection there.
A healthy Jack Flaherty could go a long way,
Flaherty is a great name to mention in the rotation too.
towards cementing it. Got to stay healthy. They also have a top 5 farm system if they want to make a trade to acquire someone. All right, let's go over to the National League West. Another kind of compelling division with 2 teams. Who do you like in that one?
I got to stay with Don Orsillo, got to stay with Xander Bogaerts and all the rest of the misfits that left the Red Sox that weren't good enough for John Henry. I will go with the San Diego Padres.
That's definitely a team that's pretty loaded. So if they can solve the pitching, that would certainly
Pitching
get.
is their Achilles heel, no doubt.
Yeah, Dodgers though, not super robust in the rotation at the moment either.
Yep.
Let's go ahead to your National League wild cards now. Who do you have?
I'm going Dodgers. Again, I think it's going to be a close division. I do think there's going to be a little bit of more of a separation between the Padres and the Dodgers than most expect this upcoming season. But I feel the Dodgers will be there for a wild card. I also have the Braves right there. I do think, again, for closeness, the Mets and Braves, this is going to be a game or two apart. Very, very close. And then I have the Phillies sneaking in. I think the Phillies could actually do a pretty decent job. They had such a great season last year. Hopefully they're banking off of another great season. They got obviously Schwarber, Trey Turner and stuff right there. So I think they'll be in good position right there.
Okay. And your National League MVP, who do you like?
This is the guy I wanted very badly last offseason before you got to know me so well, Terry. I wanted Freddie Freeman on the Red Sox. I did. I wanted Freddie Freeman. I think he's a class act. I think the guy plays with so much pride and joy of the game that I think a lot of players miss at times. And he's a very easy guy to root for. Really shocked me that he was not, no longer a part of the Atlanta Braves. But I'm a big fan of Freddie Freeman. I think that this will be a great season for him. So I'm rooting for him.
Be the second year in a row a first baseman wins it on the
Yep.
National League side. Cy Young, who's winning it?
I'm going Max Scherzer. I think that this is going to be something that gets the Mets to a close position to get the World Series. I'm not saying they're my choice as of right now, but I think Scherzer has the potential to deliver and deliver big upon what the Mets are hoping for. Big game, Max.
That would be interesting. He's won 3 or 4 already, so
Yep.
wouldn't be shocked if he adds another.
Yep.
All right, and then finally, which 2 teams do you have going to the World Series?
This would be a fun one. This would be a fun one if it does happen. But I'm going Blue Jays, Padres. Blue
Wow.
Jays, Padres are my choice right there. Yeah, it's definitely thinking out of the box here a little bit. Definitely different. I will say that. Um, I'm saying that there's some guys that are going to have great years, like our 2 Cy Young winners that I had, Shane Bieber and Max Scherzer, not good enough to get to the World Series. And as we know, it's the hot hand when it comes to those playoff matches and everything. So I'm gonna go with the Blue Jays and the Padres. That's my selection.
All right. Well, solid picks all the way around, and hope everybody enjoyed it. Again,
Love to
we
have some debate, discussion about it. If some people disagree, that's fine. That's fine. We welcome
absolutely.
that. We welcome that. But this is what I'm feeling at this current moment.
The comment section is getting pretty busy on our YouTube channel, so feel free to chime in down below. I'm pretty good about responding to most of them, so go ahead and do that. And we will be back. The full crew will be back on the Apple Podcast platforms on Sunday night for a Monday morning release to make all of our picks. So hopefully everyone's having a good week and have a great weekend. It's the last one without baseball that counts. So have a good one.